It's a good thing that Pantera is finally back together after all this time, since founding member Vinnie Paul spent about 15 years vehemently rejecting the idea. After his brother Dimebag's tragic end in 2004, there was, in Vinnie's words, no way a reunion could ever happen. He's repeatedly scoffed at the idea of seeing anyone replace his brother as guitarist of the legendary band that they formed together. But greed and vanity are two forces of nature not to be trifled with, and Vinnie's untimely passing has conveniently opened the doors for an egocentric display of absolute narcissism. I never would have guessed that remaining members Rex and Phil could be so disgraceful to the Abbott brothers' legacy, until I realized that neither of them have ever done anything remotely close to the popularity and marketability of Pantera, especially after witnessing how glamorous and lucrative the shows are now, and considering the fact that over the years Rex hasn't been cited as anything other than Pantera's rickety former bassist. Rockstars used to be influential and iconic symbols to generations of musicians and music lovers, but the veil of prestige has been torn away by their own accessibility and desire to stay current, and Pantera is far from the only band that's figured out they can benefit in the absence of a predominant member. Queen, Linkin Park, Alice in Chains, and even Static X are just a few examples of groups that have reformed after losing their foremost leader, some in honor of their friend and musical partner, and others in a lustful reach for attention, money, and relevance. And speaking of clamoring for attention and relevance, there always seems to be an aging and decrepit-looking band squeezing the last bit of money out of their fans by heading out on another farewell tour. Some of these farewell tours are known to last many years longer than any of their previous ones, in a thirsting attempt to extract even more adulation and to gerbil away a fatter retirement fund for themselves, which for some would be more icing on an already slathered and disgustingly bloated cake, paid for by a mindless and effusive fan base. It probably wouldn't be so insulting if they actually stopped touring when they promised, or if they put out a decent record in the last 40 years. But instead, we're meant to suffer through an underperformed set list, executed far better decades ago, without the political messaging and lecturing from people who by most accounts have never had an insightful grip on politics or even reality. There's no question these legendary bands are still stacking arenas and filling stadiums, even without any recently released music. But in an ever-probing quest to rationalize this phenomenon, I can only liken it to the movie business. Because just like reboots, remakes, and sequels seem to be the only films guaranteed to put asses in theaters, a reunited group or band playing its old music is sure to sell tickets. That pleases the investors and food and beer vendors and all the grotesque marketing whores that run the music business. There are plenty of great undiscovered bands and artists in the world, but the powers that be find it impossible to support them because they wouldn't be able to fill places like the Toyota Pavilion, the Bank of America Stadium, or the Verizon Wireless Amphitheater, ultimately running the risk of not making back the millions they've shoveled into these piggy banks. Most audiences can never give new music a chance because they're too distracted sucking down the same old corporate trash like fast food. So the next time you see an elderly rock star desperate to stay current and making up a reason to tour, just think about the money machines charging inflated prices for tickets and beer, and the better musicians you'll most likely never hear of.